In today's video, we're playing a more classic build of Ruby Storm featuring City of Traders, bonus round, and a full 4 copies of Jessica's Will. Let's go check it out. Here it is. This is the deck list that we'll be playing today. In one of my more recent videos, I said that I didn't really like bonus round. In fact, I think it's a pretty big trap. I upset a number of people. And well, I still kind of hold that opinion, but I'm willing to play things to find out if I'm wrong. So today, we are playing 4 copies of bonus round within our 75. 3 in the main deck, 1 in the sideboard, and those are for Burning Wish, and then the card Wish itself, the 3-mana sorcery from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. So we're playing 5 Wish effects to go get our bonus round. The idea is that you copy Burning Wish, you get a Rite of Flame plus something like Past in Flames, and then you go to town. And it makes it a little bit more classic because Ruby Storm really gained popularity based on this card, even if I think that the deck has moved past bonus round itself with effects like Galvanic Relay, which don't actually work that well with bonus round because you're copying your spells and then you play a spell that forces you to pass the turn. It can get a little bit hairy, but I'm willing to be wrong. Another change is that I'm playing City of Traders today. Typically, I like Sandstone Needle, but it does power out Ruby Medallion on the first turn into a second turn Seething Song win a lot better than Sandstone Needle, even if it is a little bit costly. So we're playing a more classic land in this deck list today. And then the sideboard is fairly stock at this point. I'm choosing to play a Chain Lightning. That's just because I want a little bit more flexibility. It also doubles as a win condition after enough copies of bonus round. So I'm interested in that other than just having the single Grapeshot. My list does play Past in Flames. I think it's one of the better aspects of Ruby Storm. A lot of lists don't play it anymore, but I think that a few copies to beat blue is worthwhile in the main deck. If you have any thoughts, comments, questions, suggestions, whatever, put those down below. I'll do my best to respond, and thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you in the first round. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, cyborg guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to the first match. We're on the draw against Martyr, and to the last of my knowledge, our opponent has been on Doomsday for some time. Not really a matchup I want to play, but this hand is good, so we're going to keep it. And they main phase a Brainstorm. They evoke a Grief, so they're not on Doomsday. They're on the Rescaminator deck, very popular in the current metagame. So they exiled a Troll of Khazad-dûm. Next turn, they could have another Grief in the form of Reanimate or Animate Dead. So that's something to think about. And they take our Ruby Medallion. Yep. Seething Song is not the worst. We'll play the basic Mountain and pass. The problem right now is that we're sort of light on mana, which seems crazy, but if the play pattern is to play City of Traders next turn Seething Song, bonus round, you could play Reckless Impulse, but you have no mana, and that's kind of a problem. So if we want to win next turn, we would need Seething Song to resolve through days, and for us to draw like a Rite of Flame. Another basic Mountain, okay. I think we should Reckless Impulse here. Try to draw out of days. They Force of Will, pitching Force of Will. Holy moly, you got it. They have 2 cards remaining in hand. They found Reanimate on Grief. I have to imagine that they're going to take the Seething Song. And they do. Urza Saga, that's a spicy inclusion. You don't see that every day. We drew another Seething Song? Okay, let's think about this. So I can play City of Traders Seething Song. Bonus round, Burning Wish, getting Rite of Flame plus something else. Seething Song gives me 5 mana, bonus round. So I can play Rite of Flame. If I wanted to do Rite of Flame Past in Flames, I'm actually a mana short. But I might be able to do like Rite of Flame Empty the Warrens. And all of this assumes that our opponent's last card in hand is not Daze. I could also just Burning Wish for Past in Flames. But that actually, I wouldn't be able to use the bonus round next turn. So let's play Seething Song. Okay, that resolved, and now we'll play bonus round. Burning Wish. It copies due to the bonus round. The first one will grab Rite of Flame. And then with the second, we will grab... It's either Galvanic Relay or Empty the Warrens. The question is, like, do we think our opponent has, like, a main deck Shadow Spear for this Urza's Saga? I think we're supposed to grab the Empty. Rite of Flame. And then Empty the Warrens. It's actually going to be for 12 because the bonus round will copy the Empty the Warrens. So it is not 10, it is in fact 12. And bonus round does not copy the Storm. The Storm is not a quality of the spell. It's a triggered ability that happens. And they're going to cycle Lorien Revealed. Okay. Urza's Saga does go to the second chapter. They play Underground Sea. Murktide Regent. Looks like we're in a race. That was a pretty good draw for them. They destroy our City of Traders. That's fine. We'll play City of Traders. And we're just going to attack. They'll block 2, and then they'll take 10. And we still have lethal on board for the following turn. The downside is if they happen to have a Shadow Spear in the main deck, we lose to that card, especially with a 8/8 Murktide Regent on the battlefield. They made a Construct token. I don't believe they have one. And our opponent concedes. Love to see it. Okay, going into the post-board games. We likely want these Leyline of the Voids. And then, I'm sorry, you bonus round fans out there, I don't think that this is a card we want in blue matchups, so I'm going to board out bonus round. And I'm also going to try boarding out one copy of Jeska's Will versus the deck with Grief and Force of Will and a bunch of ways to exile cards from their hand. Game number 2 on the draw, they've kept 7. So this is a hand I would want in a combo matchup. But against the blue-black Reanimator style strategy, I'm not so sure. I think that this is actually a pretty big trap, so we're supposed to mulligan. No Leyline of the Void. This hand also doesn't really play that much Magic. I think I'll go to 5. Alright, this is a reasonable hand. We'll get rid of the Jeska's Will. And... Rite of Flame. We'll put the Leyline of the Void in. Let's go. They play Underground Sea and pass. City of Traders. I'm going to test out the Ruby Medallion. If they have a daze, they have a daze. It resolves. Good to see. They cycle a Troll of Khazad-dûm. Wasteland. Okay. We draw Burning Wish, and we are forced to just pass the turn. They play the Underground Sea. We drew the other Past in Flames. That's kind of awkward. We really need to draw basic mountains. There's a Saga that does help them pivot out of the Leyline of the Void. Another Ruby Medallion. We have to pass. They play Polluted Delta. They still have 6 cards in hand. Ancient Tomb. Let's try another copy of Ruby Medallion. And it seems like they don't respect Ruby Medallion very much. They create a Construct token. Under City Sewers. They kept the card on top. And now Urza's Saga will go to the 3rd chapter. They can create a construct and search their library for an artifact that costs either 1 or 0. So something like a Nile Spellbomb, Soul Guide Lantern. We saw the Aether Spellbomb in game number 1. They choose Mishra's Bauble. Attacks for 3 will go to 15. And they use the Bauble. Another Urza's Saga. Lotus Petal. Technically a red mana, but when I cast this Manamorphose, it's going to be a very big Force of Will target. Alright, Manamorphose. They allow it to resolve. We'll make red. Let's test out a Seething Song. Blusterstorm. The cost... Oh, they're going to have 4 copies. So I'm not going to be able to pay for this. They still have 6 cards in hand. We'll play Lotus Petal. So I could Past in Flames. But I think that might be the play here. It allows me to play through Daze the best. There's only 2 sad cards in there. Force of Negation. Okay, I have to pass the turn. They have 4 cards remaining. They cycle a Lorien Revealed, picking up an Underground Sea. They play the land. They still have 4 cards. They make another Construct. And attack for 6 will go to 7. They have lethal on board. Manamorphose. Let's try another Manamorphose and see if that resolves. We'll make red red. I don't think we're supposed to play the Ruby Medallion. It costs 2 and only makes one of our spells cost less. I believe I just need to play Past in Flames here and hope that they don't have anything good. We can beat a Daze, but that's about it. They cast a Brainstorm. Past in Flames back on the stack. Blue Elemental Blast. So that's going to beat me. We saw roughly a quarter of our deck, but no basic mountains. And that was the downfall of us in game number 2. I think I'm okay just resubmitting this. On the play for game number 3. We can't actually cast anything in our hand. We will take a mulligan. Ay. Am I supposed to keep this? I don't know. I guess we'll keep. Bottom the Birgi. Pull ley line in. Play our basic mountain past the turn. We're in a spot where we really need to draw like a City of Traders or an Ancient Tomb. What about another Ley Line of the Void? On our end step, they played a Brainstorm, and now we're going to their turn, Ponder. They shuffled, polluted Delta, and they are passing. Another Seething Song, okay. What's funny is my list is also playing one more land than the stock builds. I am choosing to play 16, and most lists play 15 lands, so the fact that we're getting stuck on lands is not great. Clearly, I need to cut a land so that way I draw them more often, right? Right? Brainstorm into Undercity Sewers. They get rid of a Grief. They could have Heartcast that next turn. We find a Lotus Petal. I don't think I can afford for that to be discarded, so I'm actually going to just play it out. Another Brainstorm. They play Wasteland into Heartcast Grief, so they did have another Grief in hand. And they take our Burning Wish. Galvanic Relay, that's not terrible. Might allow us an opportunity to maybe get them a little bit, but we would need to draw an Ancient Tomb or a City of Traders for that to happen. They attack for 3, we'll go to 17. There's a Saga. Another Grief! Brutal. Galvanic Relay to the graveyard. What are these lands that people play? I'm unfamiliar. They cycle a Troll of Khazad-dûm for their 6th land. They attack for 6 using Griefs. We're at 11. They play Basic Swamp, still 5 cards in hand. Reckless Impulse. I could play this into Daze. That is a choice we can make here. I don't know if it's going to get any better, so we'll play it. No lands. Perfect. Pass the turn. They create a construct and another construct. They get to search their library for an artifact. Mishra's Bauble. Now they're attacking for 9. I'll go to 2. Ancient Tomb is no longer a card we're allowed to use. And in both post-board games, we had mana problems, so unfortunate. We're going to start this league off 0-1. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Alright, second round, we're on the draw. I remember facing this person, and I want to say, and I did not look them up, but I want to say that they were on Goblins previously, so I'm sort of keeping this hand, assuming that they're on Goblins. That said, I'd probably keep this hand in most matchups, so we're just going to keep it anyway. They kept 5 cards, Bloodstained Mire. Alright, well, not Goblins. Grief exiling Troll of Khazad-dûm. Lame. They take our bonus round. And then reanimate the Grief. They have 1 card remaining. And they take the Jeska's Will. I'll play Ancient Tomb and the Ruby Medallion. Drawing a land was not ideal here. They cycle a Troll. They're at 15. We'll take 3 down to 15. Tie ball game. Lotus Petal. We will hold that. We are a deck with Galvanic Relay in it. And we're not in a spot where we care if the Lotus Petal is discarded either. We go to 12. They have 1 card in hand. Birgi! Okay, so let's play City of Traders. And we're going to take some damage here. And then we'll play Harnfell. I'm not going to try to win this turn, but next turn I'm likely going to try to do something. Pass the turn. Orcish Bowmasters. Don't care. At least not right now. They'll attack for 5. Will go to 4. Wasteland. They hit the City of Traders. Okay. We'll start off by discarding Basic Mountain. Past in Flames Burning Wish. Discard Galvanic Relay. Lotus Petal and Wish. We actually have not hit a land yet. We need some mana here. I'm going to live big. We'll discard these City of Traders. Still no land, but we did hit a Seething Song. And I think I'm going to discard the Lotus Petal. We did hit a land that time. So we'll play the Mountain. Our opponent has no hand. I'll go to 2. We'll play another Ruby Medallion. Storm is 1. Seething Song, Storm 2. Play the Lotus Petal. Alright, so if I Burning Wish into bonus round, that's 3 mana. So I'd still have 4 available mana. So let's play Burning Wish. Yes. We'll grab the bonus round. Play bonus round. And now I can play... I guess I could play Wish into Rite of Flame, and that's mana neutral. So we'll play Wish, Wish, play the Rite of Flame. It copies, so it makes mana. Let's Reckless Impulse. Another Rite of Flame and another Ruby Medallion. Rite of Flame. All the mana. Ruby Medallion. Term is 10. We'll play Past in Flames. It copies. Another Rite of Flame. Who needs to draw cards? Drawing cards is lame. We'll play another Rite of Flame. Play Wish. Term is now 14. From 15, we'll cast Grapeshot. I'll let you. Bonus round copies it, so we essentially have 16 copies. And we get game number 1 versus what I'm assuming here is Mono Black Scam. I don't believe that they're Reanimator, so I'm going to just resubmit. Like, I don't want to board in Leyline of the Void just for Grief Reanimate on, like, Troll of Khazad-dûm or whatever. Like, if they were on, like, Gristlebrins and Atraxas and everything else, I'd probably bring in the Leylines. But I'm going to go with my gut and just submit the same 75. Good hand. We'll keep. Looks like our opponent also kept 7. That's no good. Swamp. Thoughtseize. I have to imagine they're taking the Ruby Medallion. And they do. We'll play Basic Mountain past the turn. Why not lead on Ancient Tomb? It makes 2 mana. Well, our opponent could be playing Wasteland. And if they are, I don't want my land destroyed. Dark Ritual. Torok with Kicker. They discard Ancient Tomb Past in Flames. Okay. They have 3 cards remaining. We draw Galvanic Relay. So I could play the Mountain here. But if I Reckless Impulse into... You know what? I'm going to play it a little more safe. Let's just Reckless Impulse. Manamorphose Seething Song. Perfect. Pass the turn. That was actually incredibly good for us. They evoke a Grief. I mean, I'm guessing they take Jessica's Will here, but it's not even like a great play. Yeah, like they took Galvanic Relay. Like this Jessica's Will doesn't really do a whole lot. Reanimate on Grief, so now they can take the Jessica's Will. But that's fine. My whole plan here is to flash back this Past in Flames. And now they attack for 6. We'll go to 14. They have 1 card left in their hand. We find a Reckless Impulse. So I guess we're supposed to start on Manamorphose in case I draw into a Ruby Medallion. We'll do red, City of Traders. I am actually short 1 mana from... I guess we would need multiple mana. Alright, so we'll Seething Song. And then I'll play this Reckless Impulse. Like, flashing back the Past in Flames, I don't have enough starter mana to do anything. We get Rite of Flame. Rite of Flame actually doesn't do it either. So we'll pass. Next turn they attack for 9. So that would put me to 3, which means I can still use the Ancient Tomb. They attack. I go to 3. Wasteland. That's a little annoying. Null Rod. Well, I don't have a Lotus Petal anyway. Bonus round. I think I'm just dead here. Yeah, they got me. Okay. Off to game number 3. We will resubmit. I mean, it's not in my sideboard, but there are builds of Ruby Storm that play Null Rod itself, just because, like, it's really just 4 Lotus Petals, and you don't actually need Lotus Petal for this deck. You could run Desperate Ritual or something else. Don't think we're allowed to keep this. Send it back. This is a keep. Alright, bottom a Basic Mountain. They quickly mulligan to 5. Okay, we're going to lead on Ancient Tomb, Ruby Medallion. And now there's a question of, do you play out the Lotus Petal into Manamorphose just to see? And knowing that our opponent's on a deck full of discard, I'm kind of tempted. So we're going to play the Manamorphose. Like, Burning Wish is a really good hit here. Ding! Burning Wish. Yes. And I think we just get Empty the Warrens. Okay, 12 goblins. Good luck. Love that for us. Bloodstained Mire, they fetch. Swamp. Dark Ritual. Extinguator, I can't even say this word. Extinguator Cavalry? I don't know. It's a knight that makes blood tokens. We'll play the basic mountain, and then we'll attack. Hiya. They don't even bother blocking. The thing is, lifelink, they could have blocked, and they concede instead. So we're 1-1, 3 matches left to go. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and Mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Round number 3, we're on the draw. We're actually facing a Storm supporter of Tony Scaponi, so I'm willing to bet that they're on Jewel here. And they lead on Grim Monolith. It's looking like Jewel to me. They have 5 cards left in their hand. We draw Ancient Tomb. So let's play the Ancient Tomb. And we can play Lotus Petal into... If we play Seething Song, we can play Birgi Lotus Petal Relay. Yeah, I think I probably want a Seething Song here. They allow that to happen. Okay, so I could try Hornfell, but I feel like that's sort of a trap. Instead, I'm going to play the Birgi. Does this eat a Force of Will? After a long pause, the Birgi resolves. We'll play out Lotus Petal, Birgi triggers. And now we'll try for a Galvanic Relay for 5. Unfortunately, we do have to pass the turn here. But we're set up if we get another turn. Hopefully the Jewel deck doesn't turn to us. But we'll take what we can get, right? They play Thundering Falls. That's probably a good sign for us. Looks like our relay for 5 was 2 mountains, a Ruby Medallion, and a Reckless Impulse. 5 mana. And they play a 1 ring. My list cannot beat the One Ring. So if you are a follower of Tony Scaponi, Tony plays a card dedicated to beating the One Ring. I am not playing that. Basically, the One Ring is less than 2% of the metagame, and I don't believe in playing a card in my sideboard for 2% of the metagame. It's just like not a wise decision in my opinion. So I choose to not play anything to beat the One Ring. Ruby Medallion. What to do? I think I'm going to play City of Traders. We'll play another Ruby Medallion. Let's try a bonus round. Bonus round resolves. We'll play Reckless Impulse, which ends up being a free spell because we have the Birgi to make up for the red that it cost us. And then Ruby Medallion reduces the Reckless Impulse to 1. So it's completely free to play, and now we can play the top 4 cards of our deck. Reckless Impulse. And they Force of Will. Okay, they have 3 cards remaining in their hand. I believe I'm going to play Past in Flames here. And Past in Flames is going to generate a red off of the Birgi, which will allow me to play more cards out of the graveyard. Like the Seething Song. So we'll play Seething Song. Going to generate a ton of red mana here. We will flashback the bonus round. Okay. We'll Reckless Impulse. This will now be 6 cards off the top for free. We'll play another Ruby Medallion. We also need to make sure not to deck ourselves. We'll play Lotus Petal, make some mana. Lotus Petal, make some mana. Actually, does Fire Confluence do it? No. It still prevents the damage. We'll play another bonus round. Let's Reckless Impulse. Oh my. Alright, I need to be aware of this because this is a lot of Reckless Impulses. I probably shouldn't try to draw any more cards after this. Oh my. This is so many cards. Wow. All the mana in the world, too. Alright, so I guess we can play a Seething Song. Roughly 1 million red mana. So while this is cool, I guess the question is, was this necessary to win this game? And I think at the beginning of the turn, the answer was yes. So people always love posting the screenshots of like bonus round copying 37 things and then making 900 mana. And I get that winning more is awesome. But in this game, I do think that the bonus round was probably necessary for us to get this deep. So credit to bonus round for this game. And now we're going to cast a lot of Burning Wishes. Grab Past in Flames. Empty the Warrens, wherever that is. Grab Reforge the Soul. Grapeshot. Fiery Confluence. Grab the Rite of Flame. We'll grab Chain Lightning. And bonus round. Let's play a Hornfell, or Harnfell, however you would like to pronounce it. Generate a mana. And I'm going to Fiery Confluence. It doesn't really... Actually, I guess I don't want to do 1 damage to each creature, because that would kill my Birgi. So we'll target Grim Monolith. And then we're going to do same targets over and over again, because I don't want to destroy my own permanents. Even though we have a ton of bonus rounds, the Fiery Confluence damage is prevented by the One Ring. Alright, and then we'll empty the Warrens for a lot. Alright, Magic Online, can we do it? Magic Online with a slight hiccup there. So we're generating a lot of goblins before our Storm Trigger has even resolved. We made 14 goblins by the looks of it before empty resolves. And then we will pass the turn. The One Ring, sure. So they go to 14, and now they have to win with 6 cards in hand and a tapped One Ring. They play City of Traders, Lotus Petal. That gives them 6 mana. That is the right number for the Jewel. And there it is. They have 3 cards remaining, but they're about to draw 3 more. Grim Monolith, okay. Copy artifacts, so they'll copy their coveted Jewel. They'll draw 3 more. This is what the Jewel deck does. Another copy artifact, so now they're drawing up to 9. We're just hoping that their draw 3s end up bricking. They play another copy artifact, okay. Ooh, they copy Harnfell. That's dangerous. Maybe they'll win this. Harnfell gives them a lot of looks here. They had a Show and Tell. Yeah, I mean, they should be able to draw their entire deck at this point. Between Transmute Artifact and the copy artifact, I believe we've lost. And they do get the Paradox Engine. So now, whenever they cast a spell, all their cards will untap. And they'll be able to play Emrakul the Aeon's Torn, plus another copy of the One Ring, so that way, when I attack, they do not deal lethal. So I'm going to save us some time here, and we will concede. We are on the play for game number 2. I mean, we had a really good start, and we did not win that game. So I'm not feeling super confident about this. We will mulligan. And this hand doesn't actually do anything. So you can Rite of Flame into Manamorphose and hope to hit like a Lotus Petal, but I don't think that's something we want to do here. I think you're supposed to mulligan. So this is turn 1 Seething Song into Horn. I guess that's something we're allowed to do. I don't know. Like, I feel like this deck is just like really light on mana sometimes. We'll play Seething Song and Harnfell. That resolves past the turn. They play Ancient Tomb Pass. We draw Manamorphose. We'll discard that to the Harnfell. 2 lands. Okay. Pass the turn. They play Island. Show and Tell. They have a Jewel. And so the chain begins. They're just copying their coveted Jewel over and over again into Transmute Artifact. They have 3 mana floating, so now they get the Paradox Engine. And a Lotus Petal. So now they have all the mana in the world, but do they have a payoff? Another copy artifact, okay. Another copy artifact. So now they're going to be up to 14 cards in hand with a bunch of mana. And they copy my Harnfell. Alright, I am good to call it here. We were absolutely crushed. And sometimes that happens. We are 1 and 2. You're still watching. Make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. Alright, time for the fourth match. We are on the play. We're facing Shockwave, who last I knew was on Cephalid Breakfast, but in Vintage loves Mana Drain decks. And while we've opened up a terrible hand, we will mulligan. This seems reasonable enough. Keep in bottom, Rite of Flame. Really hoping that Shockwave is on a non-blue deck today, with the way that our hand shaped out. Like, I would just love to see, like, Mountain Goblin Lackey. Like, let's see that. Nope, Flooded Strand. Ruby Medallion. Let's try the Medallion. It resolves. Let's attempt a Manamorphose. We'll make red. Draw Ancient Tomb. Let's try Seething Song. This will get a fetch in response. They do select Tundra. And a Brainstorm. Seething Song. Resolves. Bonus round. Alright, we have 2 draws off Manamorphose here. Manamorphose. We'll make red. Uh-oh. Come on. There we go. Alright, we're going to exile the top 3. So we'll see 6 cards here. Reckless Impulse, Ruby Medallion. We'll play Ruby Medallion. Seething Song. I mean, our opponent's pausing, but it's pretty clear that they don't have anything going on. And now we can play the top 4. We'll play another Ruby Medallion because I can. And they concede! That's what I'm talking about. Hi-oh! Okay, game number 2. No sideboarding from us. I'm just going to resubmit. Actually, there's someone that likes Deafening Silence type cards. I think I might want the Blast Zone. But I only know that because they play Vintage. They love Vintage. They love their Mana Drain decks. And even in their Mana Drain decks in Vintage, they play a lot of permanent-based hate. So I think Blast Zone's not the worst card to bring in here. And Lotus Petals for speed. This is not a speed matchup, so I'm good with boarding those out. Could also try taking out City of Traders instead. Maybe I'll do that. Because that way I keep my red mana source count high. I do feel like sometimes our deck struggles with not finding enough red mana. Game number 2, we'll keep Basic Island and their passing. We'll play a mountain past the turn. Plateau. Manamorphose. Let's Jeska's Will, attempting to make 6 mana. I have to guess that this is going to be countered. And it is. Spell Pierce. Pass the turn. Wasteland. Was not expecting that one. Okay. They have 5 cards left. We'll try another Jeska's Will for 5. So if this resolves, it's just Seething Song. Jobin's Veto. So definitely not Cephalid Breakfast. We will pass. Flooded Strand. They still have 4 cards in their hand. Rite of Flame. We will Manamorphose. They thought for a bit and then it resolved. Another Galvanic Relay. Manamorphose again. We'll make 2 more red. Blast Zone. Manamorphose. Make 2 more red. Fast in Flames. Let's attempt a Reckless Impulse here. Lotus Petal, I like that. Question is the City of Traders better? I guess I'd have to give up the Lotus Petal if I wanted to relay. So we'll relay for 7. Our opponent with 4 cards remaining in hand. Lotus Petal, bonus round, Burning Wish, Seething Song, Burning Wish, Seething Song, Ruby Medallion. Not a lot of mana in there. I would have liked to have seen like an Ancient Tomb or a City of Traders to help me play through some counter magic. Another Galvanic Relay. We'll start on Lotus Petal. Play the Blast Zone. Let's try a Ruby Medallion. That resolved. Seething Song? This would actually be the card that you're supposed to counter. And they have another Spell Pierce we cannot pay. Alright, that's annoying. Let's Burning Wish. 2 relays and a Past in Flames in hand. I believe we're supposed to grab our sideboard copy of Rite of Flame. Unfortunately, I have to pass the turn with a Burning Wish, a bonus round, and a Seething Song in exile. And step they play Dress Down. And Brainstorm. Flooded Strand, they have 3 cards remaining. Mountain. We'll play Rite of Flame, this will make 3 mana. Let's attempt a Past in Flames. They have to have a counterspell here. They do have a Dovin's Veto. Well, then Galvanic Relay for 4. Another Past in Flames. Mountain, Seething Song, and a Birgi. That was a good Galvanic Relay. Instead, they search out a Tundra, and now they could use the Flooded Strand to go grab a Mystic Sanctuary, and then put like a Dovin's Veto back on top of the deck. Alright, well there's the Mystic Sanctuary. Is Dovin's Veto the card? It is. 5 mana. For a hardcast Lorien Revealed. Chose to not hold open the Dovin's Veto. A sign of strength. They play Underground Sea. So they're 4 color, that's interesting. Wait, no, that's 5 colors. My bad. No, we haven't seen green. Ignore me. It is 4. Okay. We'll play the Mountain first. Play the Birgi. Our little mana monster. I mean, if they want to forcible this Birgi, I think they're dead. So you need to let her resolve. What? You have double force? Seething Song? Okay, Manamorphose. Is your last card like Flusterstorm or another force? Surgical on Galvanic Relay. Well, they are going to hit the relay out of my hand, but they're just dead to Past in Flames. Like, unless it's Mindbreak Trap. Is your last card Mindbreak Trap? I mean, if it is, props to you. Alright, Manamorphose. We'll do red. Jessica's Will. Let's exile the top 3. Another Birgi bonus round. So I guess I can play the Birgi here. And now Past in Flames with just a red floating from the Birgi. And that resolves. So they're dead. Red of Flame? Yeah, this is just game over. Okay. We'll play a bonus round. Manamorphose. We're just looking for Burning Wish. Copy. Storm is already 12. Alright, another Lotus Petal. We'll Reckless Impulse. From 13. Another Reckless Impulse. Seething Song. We'll Jessica's Will to exile the top 3, so we'll look at 6 cards here. From 14. And there's a Burning Wish. And Wish itself. So we'll play Burning Wish. It's from 15. Yes, we'll grab Grapeshot. And Fiery Confluence. Cast the Grapeshot. Target you. Sweet. We're now 2-2. 1 match left to go. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist. The 5th and final match, we are on the play. Keep, and I'm only keeping this because we're facing a known Grixis control enthusiast. Double Past in Flames is probably pretty decent. Underground Sea. Into Ponder. They do not shuffle. Seething Song. Ouch, I'll take a couple points of damage here and we'll play Reckless Impulse. Burning Wish and Birgi. We'll pass the turn. Would have liked to have hit a land there. Brainstorm. Basic Island. And Ponder. They shuffled on the Ponder. 7 cards still in hand. A lot of looks, like they should have a Force of Will by now. We did hit that land. Play the Birgi. Daze. I will pay. Play a Lotus Petal. Okay. It's Manamorphose. This will bring us up to 3 mana. Looks like they're considering a Force of Will on Manamorphose. And they do, pitching to Fairy Time Raveler. Okay, so our Burning Wish is going to stay in exile, but I think that's okay for us. They play that island again. Dark Ritual, so they're on Doomsday. The One Ring, okay. Weird that the Grixis control person moved to Doomsday, but yeah, it's a choice. They play out a Lotus Petal, they have 3 cards remaining. Ponder. I swear to you, I know it looks really bad that I'm not playing the card that beats One Ring this league, but it's not a card that sees a lot of play. The One Ring, that is. Seething Song. Let's Past in Flames. So if I play bonus round, I have 2 mana. Let's... Alright, so I am going to bonus round. And then we'll Manamorphose. Okay, red. Seething Song. All the mana in the world. Why not? We'll Seething Song again. And I think I'm actually going to Past in Flames again and then flash back the bonus round. Alright, Past in Flames. Bonus round. And now it should give us like 8 looks, I think, off of this Reckless Impulse. And now we will Reckless Impulse. 2 lands. Another bonus round, Jessica's Will. We will bonus round. I'm actually a little bit worried about decking at this point. We have 38 cards. Unfortunately, we have less cards than our opponent, or else you could like start to look at copying Reforge to deck, which is kind of interesting. We did not hit much off of that. Let's Jessica's Will, I suppose. Oh, that was just our bonus round, I'm sorry. And now all of our bonus round trigger, so this is going to be like 20-something cards. Okay, we'll play a Hornfell or Harnfell or whatever because I can. Let's play a Rite of Flame. We actually did not hit a Burning Wish or Wish off of that. So all of our wishes are in the bottom. So I think I actually have to Manamorphose. Manamorphose shouldn't deck me here, but it's probably going to get kind of close. Alternatively, I could no, I probably shouldn't discard that Galvanic Relay. Let's just Manamorphose. Okay, so one at a time. Looks like the copy number is 8 right now, so we get 8 copies of Manamorphose, I believe. And there's a Burning Wish. And then I'm going to play Wish because it's actually just less clicks than clicking yes on Burning Wish a bunch of times. Oh, I just thought of a creative way that you could beat the One Ring. So you'd have to play an Echo of Aeons somewhere in your 75, but you would Wish or Burning Wish for everything in your board, and then that way you have more cards in your deck when you Echo, and then you play Reforge the Soul, and you could actually beat the One Ring that way. And Echo's probably a better card than that Awkward Time Walk thing. Getting a lot of lag right now trying to cast this Empty the Warrens. There we go. Alright, we're passing the turn. Discard this Galvanic Relay. The One Ring, so they need Dark Ritual Doomsday out of their... Well, technically, they could draw it off One Ring too, but then they would need another cantrip. So, let's see what they have. They start off by activating the One Ring. So they need Dark Ritual, Doomsday, plus cantrip. They start on Brainstorm. They play Consider. I believe that means that we have won game number 1. Sweet. I don't see any reason to do anything different. Let's resubmit. Game number 2. They've taken a mulligan. I think I'm actually going to keep this. Polluted Delta, and then they pass. Another bonus round. We'll just play Mountain past the turn. Under City Sewers. And they kept that card on top. Polluted Delta, go. Past in Flames is not a bad one. We will also pass the turn. Interesting. They must have a lot of permission. Okay, we draw a Manamorphose. Let's try a Jessica's Will, targeting them. They Force of Will, Jessica's Will, pitching a Daze. I would consider that to be a win. We'll pass. They have 3 cards remaining in their hand. They did not fetch with the Flooded Strands. They do have 4 mana now. Okay. 3 cards in hand. Another One Ring. Okay. They draw a card immediately back up to 3 cards. We draw another Rite of Flame. I think we want to start on bonus round. A little bonus action. And we'll play Rite of Flame. No counter magic. Alright, so we're in the same spot as last game where we're just looking to make a lot of goblins. Rite of Flame. And now we'll Manamorphose. Red, red. Red, red. Red, red. Birgi. Alright, let's Reckless Impulse. I'm trying to do this as fast as possible. There's a Wish. We'll play Ruby Medallion. Harnfell. Play the Lotus Petal. Play Wish. And empty the Warrens. Alright, a horde of goblins has entered the battlefield. Let's see if it's good enough. Uh-oh, looks like they have it this time. And they do. Alright, we'll go to the next game. Bummer. Resubmit. The final game of this league, one way or another. I think this is okay. I'm not really sure, but we'll try it. Mountain past the turn. Under City Sewers. Gets rid of a Thoughtseize. Interesting. I wonder if I'm just dead. Another Mountain. I'm just going to play Ancient Tomb and pass. Lotus Petal. Dark Ritual. Doomsday. So it looks like they might just have the turn 2 win here. I mean, I could have played Seething Song into like bonus round Burning Wish, but what is that really doing? And they should have the win from here. There's a Lion's Eye Diamond. Now they cycle a Street Wraith. Or Edge of Autumn, that also works. They sacrifice the diamond. And it looks like they had Force and Negation, so they had a turn 2 with Force backup. The good life. Alright, so we went 2 and 3 with Legacy Ruby Storm. What did I think of bonus round? It was better than I expected. It does have some friction with Galvanic Relay. I think that's hard to ignore. I think that the deck struggled with red mana. I think that was a problem we had throughout the league. I do like Sandstone Needle. I think that maybe there's a world in which you play Ancient Tomb, like 2 City of Traders and 4 Sandstone Needles. I think that would be an interesting to test out. I know a lot of the Ruby community hates Sandstone Needle for some reason. I'm a big fan, but we all don't need to agree. As for not playing the card in the sideboard to beat the One Ring, obviously it looked bad this league. I understand that, but really the One Ring is not a big piece of the Legacy metagame. Not very many people play it. However, we did run into it twice today. I understand. Sometimes that happens. Legacy is a format with a lot of different decks in it, and sometimes those decks play cards that aren't very common. I mean, look at Nick Fit, for example. But that's all I've got for today. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a great day, and as always, keep storming. Hey you, yeah you, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you're interested, you can visit theepicstorm.com/donation decks to see your combo deck here on this very YouTube channel. You can even join me in a video in the Epic tier. It's totally worth it, I promise. And see ya. Thanks for watching.